Going to explain to us this figure that we're looking at now, this chart. This I would say like a man looking meditating. It's got very different squares and lines, and you can explain to us what that means. The color, right? There's some lines that are black, red, and so forth, so we get a better understanding of how this science works.
Absolutely. And I'm also showing you how I just quickly save all this thing on my computer, and you can do the same, and then you can email these little files, these pictures to your friends, and you can compare, oh look, I've got this picture and you've got that picture. And it can be a fun way to interact with your family members, especially if you have children or grandchildren. You would love to share this and know this because it'll help you deal with them each uniquely. What this chart does, if you'll follow my cursor, is it divides the information that we get from where the sun was, the earth, and the moon on the day you were born. We can also see the north node and the south node. It's a calculation from astrology. We can see where Mercury and Venus and Mars were, where Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto were on the day you were born, and we can take these numbers that are black because they're the day you were born, and we put them on the chart over here. 88 days before you're born, the numbers for the same planets are recorded in red, and they're put on the chart. So where you have red and black, you have it unconscious and consciously. So you could look at this information numerically, or you could look at this information as it's plotted down here. It shows the relationships of the numbers as they relate within the chakra system of the individual. So here we can see that this person, Sandra, has a channel created because this number 18 comes out and joins this number 58, and that channel going from one center to the other causes it to illuminate or turn a color, which in this case is brown. If you look up above, Johnny, you can see her little antennas coming out. Those are numbers that we find in her chart. Like here's the number 23, and I'll see what I can do for you. So if that helps, the point is you find these numbers and they're listed numerically on the columns, but they're also present in these diagrams, which you can see clearly during a reading or on your own computer. Yeah, pardon me if I can't make it much larger for this. Let me do it. There, if that helps you. So what happens is when we start to look at this information, this number 23 is just a number over here on a page. It doesn't really mean much to us until we look at it in relationship to where it appears in this diagram. And this diagram is much like the blueprint of a church or a gas station or a house. It's a design that shows you where things are and how they relate to each other. So here we can see in her design that her ego is well defined. It's her heart chakra, and it connects in a channel to her emotional solar plexus, which is her solar plexus or the third chakra, and that's connected down to her root chakra. Her root chakra is connected to her sacrum generator. We call this the generating sacrum, and I'll go into detail about that in a minute. And that is also connected up here to her intuition. So we're looking at the chart of an individual who all of her connections stay connected in one circuitry. So all of her energy and power is all together, and she is not split apart or divided in two. She's a person who's very connected within herself, and that makes her easy to navigate life. But she has some emotionality over here, and we'll discuss how that colors her world. To finish discussing the chakras, when you go on the internet, Johnny, I recommend that the viewers go on YouTube and type in the word human design generator. you'll immediately get to some videos by a wonderful gentleman named John Martin, who describes this square called the generator square. And anyone who has a generating square needs to follow the unique strategy of a generator, which is to wait and respond. The strategy is listed up here at the top, if you can see that. And then what happens is we start to look at these numbers in relationship, and we start to find out that this represents intuition on the left. The triangle on the left represents intuition. The square at the bottom represents physical energy. This square that's red represents sexual energy, the energy that creates life. That's where the genetics of Genesis generates from our genitals, and that's why we call it the generator. This solar plexus is telling us that this person is having a life with a lot of emotions going up and of a lot of emotions going down. And this person's having an emotional ride. So in her reading, we would definitely talk about emotions. How emotions are like the waves in the ocean, how those emotions come towards us and we got to deal with it and ride them out like a surfer on a wave. Then we also want